One. Hello, how the fuck are you doing? We don't have Craig with us. I did invite him, but we are recording off of schedule. So, after having the absolute worst 2 months of my life, I am back. Casey messaged me and he's like, "Yo, motherfucker, we're doing a podcast." I'm like, "Okay."
Gotta
So,
get him back in the game, man.
yeah, you had to bring me back. You
Uh,
had to bring me back to
I'm
real.
happy to be here.
I'm sure everybody is fucking happy to see you because the last podcast fucking killed it when we had us two on.
Amen.
We do need to get John back on here with us because I think that episode will be absolute fucking awesome. I can't
Uh-huh.
reopen Facebook Messenger because I'll get 1,000 messages. So we're just gonna go with this and hopefully wing it, and hopefully this doesn't end up like shit. So turn my phone on Do Not Disturb because life fucking sucks. So
hmm
we were
We gotta
talking.
get John on, man. I like to talk to him.
We were talking about caffeine before this podcast started because I've been taking caffeine pills because it makes me think a hell of a lot clearer. And from what I've seen, when you're dealing with ADD or ADHD, depending on which one I have, it makes it 10 times easier to deal with something if you're stimulating yourself and making it more, essentially, more synapses in your brain be more accessible and make your brain fire at a little bit higher of a capacity. So
hmm
for a while, I was drinking pre-workout, I was drinking Monster, and I've kind of slowed down drinking everything except Monster and making my own soda. So I stopped drinking all carbonated beverages except ones that I make myself. So those have no caffeine in them, which is great.
hmm
But I also needed to find a place to get caffeine because I'm a piece of shit without my caffeine.
You get what do you get? You get caffeine withdrawals. You just get pissed off. Uh,
Really, really fucking bad.
Probably
Well,
headaches and shit, right? Like cold sweats.
yeah, yeah, really fucking
Man,
bad.
I remember I quit chewing tobacco, man. I did that for a while, and I remember there was one day, it was like the first day I went, it was like, and I was doing it bad when I was working a lot when I was probably like 19, 20. But I remember it was like 4 o'clock in the afternoon and I just started sweating. And I'm really like, you hear about this shit in like dare in like middle school. And then like, but anyway, I was hooked on the shit. But anyway, it was like one of the hardest things I ever did. But I remember I just had cold sweats. And then I remember I just got super tired and I took a nap at like 4 in the afternoon. I woke up at like 9 at night and just like still sweating. Like, and it was just miserable. But I mean, I can only imagine what it'd be like right now if I like, if I wake up and I don't drink a cup of coffee, like I can only imagine what that would be like for you.
Well, I wanted to make it so that way. Number one, I wasn't gaining weight, wasted calories, wasted weight, and all that shit because
hmm
I'm trying to look like an acceptable human being. Although you can see the fucking peacock fuzz that I have sticking out from my bandana.
That's in right now, dude. Everyone's got that.
But no, it's fucking insane. I will show it probably by the end of the episode.
Oh,
But
good.
is the mic picking up that wind? Because that's fucking insane.
Yeah, I can hear it, dude. You'll probably hear it up here. It comes. I live right on like a mountainside. I hear this thing barreling up the hill, and it'll hit my house. I'll probably go like this, just like wobble back and forth.
It's like 60 miles an hour up here on top of the mountain, so it's fucking stupid.
Oh my gosh.
So I didn't want to keep gaining useless weight, so I was like, 0 calorie monster. I have a full 12 pack in the fridge. That's my first calorie monster today. And I was like, you know what? Not going back to coffee because I like that shit like fucking syrup. So I'm going to go and stick with, and I was like, you know what? I'll try caffeine pills because I've tried pre workout, I've tried other stims. Like I just wanted something
Damn,
so
man, you gotta be fucking wired. I
that
can't do that. I was like, have you ever like tried like intermittent fasting? Have you ever looked into that? Because I remember I did that for a while, and sometimes I do it like intentional or unintentionally, like I just the way my day goes. But I feel like that's a really good way to just revitalize your whole system, you know?
because of the way I lived life back in the day. And I'm going to word these things a little differently now because life has changed and fixed relationships I didn't expect to. But I,
Those are
I
always
went
good.
I went from not eating a lot in the teenage years and everything else. So I was used to skipping meals, skipping meals, skipping meals. That I'm able to do it now without even like thinking about it. It's like, nah, I'm not going to eat. I'm
hmm
angry. I'm not going to eat. Like I got to be in that right mindset, right kind of life place to be like, yeah, I'm going to eat that. Like I ordered
Hmm.
pizza the other day and I was like, that pizza looks fucking good. And I feel like shit right now, and I'm gonna eat myself into a fucking food coma, and I'm gonna fucking do it right now.
I think I do it every time I get pizza. I mean, there's rarely times. I mean, I'll eat like 5, 6 slices of them by myself. I got no one around me. I'll just slam that shit, man.
The hardest part is knowing exactly what pizza you want, and if it's shit pizza, you don't want to fucking slam that shit. You don't
Oh,
want to
dude,
eat that shit.
we got this local pizzeria down the road from me, and or not really down the road. I mean, there's nothing down the road from me, but you like the closest pizzeria, I'll say, like it's like the same every time. You know what you're getting every time, no matter what you get on it, and it's just like real traditional old Italian place, and just always it hits every time. You know what you're getting.
Yeah, I remember going up by you, and when I was living up there, that I used to get the same pizza from the same place on Main Street all the time,
Hmm.
and not the one that's named after a train. That place fucking sucks.
Oh wait, the place
At
right
the
like
top of the
after you.
hill, right after Main Street splits twice,
Uh
because you know that town is built like shit.
huh. Yeah, it splits twice. Oh, okay. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
The
Uh
one that like straddles the split. So on either side, you can go to this place,
huh.
and their pizza was so fucking smack. But it was
Hmm.
like the only fucking place in the entire town where it's like you can eat here. If you don't
Hmm.
eat here, every other place is fucking shit. Every other place is the most garbage fucking food you've ever seen in your life.
McDonald's.
Even that McDonald's fucking sucks. Dude, like 3 months ago, 4 months ago, we went to go get my wife a tattoo up near Albany. And fucking hell, we stopped at that McDonald's.
Mhm.
And by the time we got home, which is another 30 minutes to an hour, depending on traffic, we were shitting our brains out the second we walked through the door.
Uh-huh. I feel that, dude. It's usually right when you're like finishing up, for me
Yep.
at least. right
Always,
when I
always.
right right when I take that last bite, it's like, yep, it's there. I gotta get home.
Uh,
I gotta wait now when I drive.
so yeah, so now I switched from drinking energy drinks all the time and drinking soda all the time to strictly taking some caffeine pills in the morning, getting that nice jolt, and
Hmm.
thoroughly starting my day. Because if I drank coffee, I'd be in the bathroom up until at least noon, and taking care of a baby and everything else is definitely not the
Uh-huh.
greatest thing to be sitting in the bathroom all fucking day.
Uh-huh.
Because that hot fluid just going, it's done. It's done. It's as strong as a McDonald's meal,
Oh
and
man.
life just fucking sucks after that.
Uh-huh. I just drink water and coffee. That's it. I drink like 2 cups coffee. That's it. I'm good.
But yeah, you can get the caffeine pills at Walmart. They card you for them, which is absolutely hilarious. It's
I
like
might try them.
I
I think
have a
that sounds
beard,
pretty
man.
good.
Like I'm definitely over 21.
I
Definitely over
I'm
21.
good to be taking caffeine pills.
If I choose to spend $4 on caffeine pills, trust me, if I wanted to have a
Uh-huh.
heart attack, I promise you I would have it a much easier way than taking caffeine pills.
Uh-huh. You never know, man. I don't know. Crazy stuff.
So, since the last podcast, which wasn't the last podcast, but one of the more recent ones, I did talk about my tattoo for the
Hmm.
memorial of my brother,
Yep.
which that has a crazy story going on behind the scenes that Casey knows, but don't want to open up about it yet. I want to finish and get the gig before I decide to actually disseminate that information. But that shit's
Uh-huh.
super fucking awesome.
Looking forward to it.
But I did start my sleeve, so I got this, which is the Triforce from Zelda,
Yeah. Hmm.
with the eagle behind it, and it's got the knowledge stone cleared in because I'm so egotistical because I am intelligent that I just say fuck you courage, fuck you strength. Don't need those. I am only smart. Fuck
Uh-huh.
everything else. And I also have the lyrics from Angels by Tom McDonald. I don't know if you heard this song. Obviously, Tom McDonald blew up.
I don't know. I feel like I definitely know it, but I don't know it like enough. You know what I mean?
I got the lyrics. Uh, you get saved by your angels or become one.
Hmm.
Obviously, had extreme problems with mental health. I've had extreme struggles with my family with mental health. And I was like, you know what? those lyrics right there are super, super fucking emotional for me. Because if I
Mm-hmm.
didn't have my wife in my life at that specific time, there's a chance shit definitely changes. I've dealt with some
Mm-hmm.
crazy shit, and I was like, you know what? I need those because those words right there. I'm not an alcoholic. I've never done drugs, but those words right there of having somebody that you know is going to be there is one of the
Mm-hmm.
most important things in the fucking world.
Yeah. Uh-huh. And that's really courageous of you, Zach. Just the fact that you're, a parent and everything like that. Like, oh, that shit that you just said. Like, would you say it was knowledge, courage, and what was the other one?
Strength. So
Strength. Yeah. Come on,
so
dude. You got all that shit. Come on, get him colored in.
so this one would be
Who are
green,
you kidding,
and
man?
this one would be red. I've only
Uh-huh.
defeated the hardest one, which is the water one.
Uh-huh. You got him, man. I think you got him.
Nah,
Shit.
fam, nah.
I'll come over. I'll hit him with a marker if you want. Just to see if you like him or not. You can wash it off. See how it goes.
Exactly. I'll know exactly how they look. Dude, I need to get back under that fucking needle. So I plan on doing my entire arm as like a duality thing. So like good versus evil and like having the transparency there and like the
mm-hmm.
the other halves. So on my wrist here, on the inside of my wrist,
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna get the dark mark from Harry Potter because this is good and then evil. And then
Oh, I gotcha. All
I'm
right.
gonna get my kids to draw like they love Jurassic Park and that stuff. So I want them to draw
Awesome.
like dinosaurs for all three of them.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna get them tattooed right above the Triforce is like, hey, I have you guys with me. I have you guys with me regardless of what's going on, regardless of what's gonna happen. You guys are with me.
Mm-hmm.
And then from my elbow up, which will end up covering up the memorial for my brother, will be the Joker with the skyline. Hold on, I will find it.
Yeah, that's the
And
one you sent to me, right?
I believe so.
Yeah, that shit was dope.
It's super fucking sick, man. And like, I've never seen
That's
a
a lot of
tattoo like
needle
this.
time, man. What is that? That's
Nah,
gonna be like 4 hours, maybe more.
so
I don't know. I never got a tattoo. Yeah, dude. that is
that's
sick.
fucking sick.
Mm-hmm.
That's fucking sick. Because like, I like the duality of the Joker too. Like
mm-hmm.
the some people will see him as the martyr. Some people will see him as the good guy. Some people will see Batman as the bad guy.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's also that transparency of seeing the city and seeing the outline and that kind of stuff. It'll be super, super interesting and a cool way to end off a tattoo that, number one, I need covered up because I'm sick and tired of feeling like, hey, I'm not enough because I'm going to be. I'm going to fucking kill this shit. And,
Mm-hmm. You are
good shit's
enough. You
going
got
to
to think
happen.
that way. You got to think that way. You are enough. You're gonna keep going. You're gonna keep growing.
So, yeah, got a whole bunch of tattoos coming.
Man. That's gonna be a while.
No,
Props to you, man.
I will do it all
That's
in
like,
one setting. Let's go. Somebody want to watch kids? I will 100% sit there for 5 6 hours and just let him finish my entire
man.
sleeve all at once.
How do you think that would feel? You think? I
I'd be
mean, I
fine.
never gotten a tattoo. Would it be like you
This
don't
I
you
didn't.
you wouldn't be you wouldn't you're not like I mean, if you got all that done in one day, you don't think like
This part
you're.
right here hurt the most.
Mhm. But I feel like afterwards, like you'd be so sore.
It genuinely really doesn't feel like anything. Have you ever gone to Florida and gotten like sunburnt?
In North Carolina, I've never been to Florida,
But
but
like severe, severe, dark, dark red
yeah,
sunburn.
uh-huh,
It feels sort of like that, except it's sort of numb at the same time.
uh-huh.
And you also have
I
to
guess that kind
understand
of makes sense.
this is the arm I had surgery on. So like if I have nerve damage, it's there. So I'm not gonna
uh,
fucking feel half of it anyway. Like the lyrics go into my armpit and it's like right here. I
oh, that's
show it,
like the
but
worst, isn't it?
nipples on Facebook. Um
Uh-huh. No, dude, free the nipple. That's in.
exactly. Nobody's wearing
Just
bras anymore. Fuck them.
yeah, you just gotta
Um
put the hashtag on it. That's all.
exactly. Free the nipple. But
Uh-huh.
it like goes into my armpit. And they're like, this is gonna fucking hurt. This is gonna hurt your ribs.
I
This is
hear
gonna
that's the
hurt.
worst.
And I'm like, you know what? Got you. Let's go. I was
Uh-huh.
like, just do it. Just
Put
do
it
it.
all on the armpit.
Well, I wanted it over the rib I had removed, the muscle I had removed is like, hey, I'm not only having this stuff removed, but now I'm adding stuff to it so that way it has emotional feeling and attachment to it. Hey, it's not there anymore, but what was there is now replaced by something that will protect me even more.
hmm
So I wanted that kind of like duality to it of, hey, That shit was removed. It's fixed now. That shit didn't hurt.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, dude, you fucking sat like a rock.
It's
I'm
because it's
like,
probably all scar
yeah.
tissue.
No, like the shit was removed there, but there
That's
wasn't
crazy,
really
man.
anything. So like, there's no muscle behind it. So when he's
Yeah.
sitting there needling it, it's fucking bleeding like a motherfucker. I'm like, there's no muscle there, right? He's like, yeah, I got it. Don't stress about it. It's just bleeding because there's nothing backing what I'm stabbing right now. Like it's skin to bone. And if it hurts, it hurts. Like this is what you're asking for. I was like, oh, it's
Hmm.
not a problem. He's like, you're sitting here like a champ.
Yeah,
You're
you're
sitting
probably
here having a
just
conversation with me. You're not moving. You're not doing the damn thing. You're just sitting there. I said, yep.
tattoo artist dream. That's cool, man. I never really thought about getting one. I never like wanted to get one. Maybe I will one day. Like it's not out of my. I wouldn't like put it off, but I don't know. I just never felt the need to get one
It's not a need.
or a
Number
want.
one, number one, when you have emotional pain, feeling physical pain helps it.
Hmm.
So, like when you're dealing with something, making it so where you're able to transmit that emotional pain into physical pain makes you able to deal with it even if it's just a touch, you can deal
Hmm.
with it a little bit better. And then you're having a conversation with somebody who's genuinely questioning about you and like worrying about you and that stuff. So it's super, super interesting. Shout out to Paul. You're a good fucking dude. We're going to have him on too. He's a cool fucking dude.
So like you're saying, like it's like filling a void, basically.
Yeah.
Something leaves and you fill it in.
Well, when I was super, super suicidal as a teenager, I would cut myself.
Hmm.
So, like, when I cut myself, I was able to turn that emotional pain into physical pain, which
Hmm.
made it 10 times easier to deal with. It made it 10 times easier to go through the motions of, hey, this is my normal everyday stuff. Where am I going to be when this ends? And from my first tattoo, which is the memorial for my brother, which will be fucking covered up because I'm sick and tired of feeling that shit all the time,
Hmm.
is like it was the same feeling. It went from me physically hurting myself and not being able to continue farther to me being able to feel that physical pain and deal with the feelings I'm feeling.
Hmm.
And it's such a weird thing to describe to somebody who doesn't have a tattoo. It's such a weird thing
I
to
do get what you're saying in a sense though, because I think I obviously have my own vices too, and there's things that I turn to fill like certain pains that I've had and experiences I've had in my life. Like,
like have you ever
because
been
I
angry enough to like punch a wall?
yeah, a
And
hundred percent, dude.
you know that like feeling of just fucking hitting that two by
Mhm.
four because you're like, oh fuck, I missed a little bit.
Yeah.
Like
Uh-huh.
that immense pain in your hand and you're like, oh fuck.
No, I don't know if I look at it that way. I
And it
look at it
just
like I just want to hit something, you know what I
and
mean? And
like you
I've
just
done it. Like
mellow
I've
out. As soon
uh-huh.
as you fucking hit it, you're like, oh, I feel so much fucking better now.
I mean like I've been like angry, like not at like one of my brothers and then like my little brothers or like one of my brothers just did something to like instigate it a little further and like I just went at them, you know what I mean? Like I've so it's like kind of different, but it's like I think it all roots back to like kind of the same thing, you know. It's like it's all stemming from a pain and you gotta turn it into something, you
Yeah,
know.
exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the cooler things that I
Look at
contemplate,
that hair
yeah,
coming out.
it's fucking crazy, man. So one of the cooler things that I've been contemplating doing, and me and you were talking about for quite a bit, was I'm contemplating running for House of Rep
Mm-hmm. I don't yeah, dude, I think like if you want to do it.
because fuck, man, fuck.
This is and that's like the point I'm at though is like I really don't even think it's worth like getting into it, you know what I mean? I think it's like once you get in you're just like a part of this big machine, you know what I mean? I think you'd probably be better off staying like local.
Like my mom, who's the person that I started talking to again, looked at me and she's like, "Well, why would you want to do that? Wouldn't
Mm-hmm.
you just take the $10,000 and move on with your life and like take the next step?" I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
no, who the fuck cares about $10,000? And
Shout out Joe Biden, baby.
she's like,
He
well,
got better money than Trump.
one person offers you 10K and then 10 people come up behind them and they're like 10K each. And then you're like, yeah. And I'm like, no,
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
no.
That's crazy.
Like, I don't understand why all these politicians are like 100K is life changing money.
No, it's a I heard this I think it was Ben Carson said this quote one time. He's like, if you take a millionaire and you give him, or he goes broke and you give him $100, and if you get a broke guy 100 or $1 million, the broke guy will be broke again before the rich guy is rich again.
Yep.
But the rich guy will get rich again. And it's all about just doing what you got to do with your money, man.
And actually articulating and figuring out the steps that you need to do to make your money not only grow for yourself, but
Mhm.
have something backing it enough to where you're able to grow things even faster.
Yeah, and I
We
think
saw
that
that with GameStop. We saw that with Dogecoin. We've seen that a
uh
lot in the past couple months. We've seen so many people flip the bird to the system and say, "Hey, we're going to grow regardless. We're going to sit here and do this stuff regardless, and it doesn't matter
mhm.
if you tell me that it's not going to work. I'm
Yeah.
going to make it work. I'm going to sit here and go through the steps. I'm going to sit here and go through every single thing that I possibly can to make sure that I'm going to be worth money."
hmm I wonder what you're worth $1 million, bud. but
I
but
wish.
whatever. Like, I wonder what like the next one, like when the next big thing is going to be for that, and I wonder if they're really going to try and squash it because like the whole internet censorship thing and the whole, if like they like, how are you supposed to plan that again, knowing that they're going to stifle it like they did the last time, where they shut it down. How do you know they're not going to squash all communication of that? It's like they can just ban a page and then everyone has to scramble around somewhere else to reconnect on another page and all that other stuff. But I think building wealth, and this is like the point I'm getting at is like, because I've been out on my own now for about 2 years, and like completely on my own, and I'm just I'm finally like stable enough where I'm ready to, and then this 1400 tech that's coming, shout out JB, what's good. It's going to help out a little bit, but I think like the big thing is to just get more assets than you have. Assets are things that make you money versus things that are going to be costing you money. And that's just like what I'm for. And mainly I've just been getting tools because I'm a craftsman, and I'm just going to get more
Got to buy
tools.
those craftsman tools.
Yeah, something like that. But I want, like I'm talking like bigger stuff, and that I can do like a little bigger jobs with, and more finishing work. But it's gonna be, it's just interesting to think about, but it's really about building wealth. And I mean, it kind of gets to one of the topics I want to talk about. Is like I feel like the system in our world, in our country right now. Like I think like this whole all these stimulus, these, I think they're just like a setup, and I think this is it's a sort of like a test run in a sense, but also like the real thing in the same sense. You know what I mean?
What genuinely surprises me, and it's surprise on twofold. First, Trump was the first person to pass a stimulus to make sure that people are taken care of,
Mm-hmm.
and not a single damn person can actually take that away from him. He
Yeah.
passed stimulus with a fucking Republican Congress.
Mm-hmm.
How many people expected that one?
Mm-hmm. A Republican Senate, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's like,
It still has to get through. It still has to get approved. It doesn't matter where it comes from.
and it's
It's
and
the
it's
fact.
crazy that everything after that, right? It was
Yeah.
all because of Congress.
Yep.
And it's like Congress just squashed it the whole time, and it was all to make Trump look bad. And it's just sad, it's so sad that like our government can be in that position to help people, and they're given however much money to all these different programs and institutions around the world, rather than just helping money, that they're giving money and being able to allocate money to people that are out of work because of government lockdowns.
And like the harder part is okay, this is going to go into a little bit. With my daughter being a NICU baby, with my daughter being severely, severely problematic with her lungs and stuff, I have to wait until the last possible minute to get a job again.
Mm-hmm. No,
Regardless
I
if I have
bet.
surgery on my hand, regardless if I have surgery on my arm, regardless of anything. So unemployment is fucking wonderful right now,
Yeah.
in all honesty,
Mm-hmm.
because I have to be there because medically for my daughter, for my kids, I have to make sure I'm here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's tough,
Then
man.
the crazier thing is I think this is a dry run at giving everybody payments monthly.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think that this works the way they're intending it currently. And so many people will sit here and say that that's wrong, whatever. So let me expand that just a touch, and then we'll see what you think. I think in a perfect society, when you have people without mental health issues, without depression, without people needing to leave their homes, and you turn to automation and industrialization and globalization, you sitting here saying, okay, we're going to pay you money to live every month, keep turning over the country, keep turning over and having kids, and have a good life. And our poverty level was a good life, as in you have a car, you have a house, and we stopped having 15 houses. And if you work, you're doing something like this where it's entertainment based or um, industrial based, where you're building houses, where like the kind of interpersonal things that you would genuinely be doing. Obviously, there's only so many of those jobs that go around. But if that's the world we're coming to, right at this second, sitting here and only giving the poor a stimulus is actually incentivizing people to vote one way or another when they're completely ignorant in the situation that we're in.
Mm-hmm. And
Because,
you're talking about industrially wise, or are you talking about socially, or are you talking about
like,
like economically?
economically, because I think socially, we would deal with problems with mental health, we would deal with alcohol abuse problems, drug abuse problems, and abuse as in people hitting each other and stuff like that because you're not filling that void of time. But industrially and organically within our country, there's still voids that can be filled.
Mm-hmm.
If you incentivize people to live the life that they want to live and to prosper and give them incentive to live and build a family and do the steps that we want as a country because we want our country to prosper,
Mm-hmm.
and you
Yep.
incentivize families sticking together, you incentivize all this stuff that used to be a thing instead of incentivizing people to be solo parents, incentivize people to be single moms and have five
Mm-hmm.
different baby daddies. When you don't incentivize that stuff, what does the country look like currently? Can we give out a stimulus that would actually genuinely impact everybody and bring everybody up to a bar of, hey, if we're able to lock inflation, which the current central government can, I'm not saying it's right or wrong that they're able to do that, but they can lock inflation and make it so a price is lock. And if we pay people say $15 an hour, a minimum wage monthly, the jobs at McDonald's, the jobs, all those jobs that everybody are saying are like the shit tier jobs that should be minimum wage, which
Mm-hmm.
$15 is what they're asking for, those jobs are going to go away. And if
Uh-huh.
people don't understand that they're going to go away, that they're dumb,
Yeah, they just don't
absolute
understand
idiots.
business. Uh-huh.
Just like the gender wage gap, it's like if I could pay a woman 70 cents on
But
a dollar,
but the
I would.
see the thing is though, like how would you incentivize, living your life and raising a family and stuff when that's like just expected, that's human nature.
Exactly. So what I was saying is say $15 an hour, 40 hours a week, no taxes taken out of it is given to you weekly or monthly, however you specifically do it. Whether that's deposits in banks or given checks or however that specifically goes, you incentivize them that way. So $15 is the minimum. Casey, who's a single male, is going to make $15 an hour.
Mm-hmm.
Say for each kid you have, you make $3 an hour extra
Mm-hmm.
because then you're incentivizing the growth of your country.
But what about the business owners that have to pay that?
No, that's given by government. So then the people that are working would be incentivized to pay more within the confines of what's going on. So you'd be given $15 an hour, regardless what job you're doing.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah, it is. It is. I'm not saying it's not. I'm just
Yeah.
saying, like in the grand scheme of things, if that's what we're looking at is
But
complete
then
industrialization and
mhm,
computerization of all of the jobs that basic people, the idiots, the people that have fallen on their hard times and everything else are going to be gone.
mhm. Yeah.
How
Well,
do you?
I think that's gonna happen anyway. And I think and even like it's we already see it happening, and I think it's
Yep.
detrimental because I think people need jobs, and I think people should be, they should work, you know, to make a living and to
Yep.
understand what it means to work and save and to build wealth and to be able to conserve your money and know when to be wise and spend your money and how to use your money to make more money, and I think those are important things, but I don't think that any sort of incentive, and I think that like I don't think it's really good for society, and I think the
Oh, I
idea
definitely
that
could see that.
I don't think the idea that government can help people better than people can help people. I think that's a and like I understand like a lot of people think that the government has a good heart and they do a good job of helping people, but honestly they're really wasteful in all their spending, like the way they carry out things. Like for instance, when like if you own a private company and like say you're a charitable organization and you're looking to do something and you're on a fixed budget, you're going to do all throughout the process, you're going to try and save money to keep on that budget. And the problem with government agencies is they don't really they're disconnected from their budget, you know what I mean? And the real thing is, and I know this from the school districts, and you can attest to this, is that they never go down, you know what I
Nope.
mean? And the reason for that is all these government agencies, including these state funded public schools, is if they uh, are below their budget, they're going to receive less funding next year.
Yep.
So that what they do every year is they do their best to break their budget so that they can convince their higher ups that
We
they need
saw it
more
with our
money.
school. Remember when they redid the auditorium after they just redid it 2 years ago?
Yeah, and it's just
They're like,
and it's
oh, we're just going to redo the auditorium again. Why is there
mhm.
no floor?
Yeah.
Where'd the carpet go?
Uh-huh. It's just nuts, man. And it's like there's so many things. Like for example, in like this the school that my parents work at now, they just got like a brand new baseball field, a brand new softball field, and a brand new track. And before even COVID hit, they didn't have a baseball team or a softball team. And it's like I'm not talking like a cheap field, you know what I mean? I'm
Yeah.
talking like top of the line. Like this is like a really nice high school field now, and it's like no one's gonna play on it. You know what I mean? Because I mean, just times are changing, and that's just like the way it is. But it's like, but back to
And
your
school numbers are down, and we have a population problem that we're falling behind in. And
mhm,
now everybody not only is going into the cities, but now we have a job problem within the cities. We have a job problem in the rural locales because people don't want to do the work.
mhm,
What do we genuinely do in this specific situation?
mhm. Well, I'm and well, I'm a faith-based guy, but I mean, and you were talking about mental health earlier, and I just think it's interesting. We look at all these government lockdowns and we look at all these things, and there are certain things that are left open and other things that are left closed. And like for example, a pastor in Colorado, he just got arrested for not turning people away from his church when he reached capacity. And it's like if people want to go in, why are you arresting this guy? Like because a lot of people, I mean, just from my experience, a lot of people go to church when they're broken and they feel nowhere else, they have nowhere else to turn. And the Bible teaches you can always go there. So I mean, just the fact that people are trying to go there and they're turning people away. And for New York, and as just an example, my church was closed for 5 6 months last year and strip clubs were open. You know what I mean?
Did
And
you
it's
ever
like,
see that meme where it's like all the women from Mortal Kombat and it said next time I go to the strip club? So they all have the
the
scars
mascot.
over their face.
Oh
But
man.
whatchamacallit? Like two parts of that super interesting. I don't think the government should have a right to say, "Hey, we have to close your business down." I
Mm-hmm.
don't. I don't agree with it. I don't agree with those steps. Two, I personally don't understand why people would turn to religion other than the fact that everything is out of their control already and they kind of just hey, this is sort of in my control. Who the hell knows if it works or if it doesn't? I'm going to use this as the scapegoat of, hey, if I pray to God, $5 is going to pop up in my pocket if I need it. When you
Oh
probably just
man.
put that $5 there before.
Mm-hmm.
So
Oh man.
it's like that conversation of, it's weird because you could have self responsibility to understand that, hey, you are a person, you can genuinely impact the outlook of life that you have.
Mm-hmm.
Or is it better just to say, hey, I have no control over anything? God's going to lead everything. And I personally don't believe, but
All right. First of all, hold on. That point you just said, okay, because I get that a lot from people. So, what was it again? You said you don't have to do anything. God's gonna do everything, right?
yeah,
So, it says a lot in the Bible, and just about every single. The only way to please God is through faith, and that the only way God could do anything in this world is through a professing of faith and believing that He's there and that He is. But it's like the notion that I think God's gonna do stuff without me moving that's like it's because it's really hard to be in faith, and I have got attacked by people really close to me and like
yeah,
really close
definitely.
family members, and the thing is, like, I never gave it back to them because I
Hmm.
understood what it was like. And you were talking about like that those voids and like the things you used to do to fill them in. And I actually had I never really talked about it, but I had a pretty rough childhood, and like alcoholism was involved, and and my dad wasn't really home a lot. He was in the military, and but and then I went to college, and I grew up in church, and like I said my prayers and whatever, and then I went to college and I got away from it, and I was lost, man. Like when
Yeah,
I tell people this all the time, like, and it was like I was ambitious, and there was like things I wanted to do, but I was always, when I was by myself, when I felt like I always needed to talk to someone about something, and I just felt like something was missing in my life. And it was like, it's weird how it turned out that I ended up going to a Bible study, and it's like a whole testimony. But it actually turns out, I'll just go into it really quick, so it'll take
you're
probably like
good.
3 minutes. But it's like I was actually living in my own apartment. Well, I had three roommates in Albany, and I applied to 15 different jobs. I couldn't believe this, and I didn't get a job at any of them. And then this one place called me back, and you probably got letters from them. You ever hear of Vector? They're like the knife selling company. They always I used to get like letters in the mail from them like every year. I
I
remember
don't
when I was in high
remember.
school, it was
I
like
might have.
guaranteed $14 an hour and like all this shit. But anyway, I got that letter, and I just applied because I needed a job. And I got that letter, and then I got the training, and then I got the job. I ended up getting a job at UPS a little later too, but I was working there, and you had to like call up people that like you knew and go and like pitch knives to them and trying to get them to sell, like you sell like these like expensive knives, you know what I mean, like, and
Yeah,
expensive. And it's like I at the time I didn't know too many like affluent people that are like willing to drop a stack on some knives, you know what I mean. So like I'm just like calling up my friends and family, and I'm not really making any sales. And I had this baseball coach, and he was like a super Christian, right? And like we would like joke around all the time because we were like 17, 18 years old. But we were like always make fun of him. He's like the Jesus freak, and like we'd always laugh at
yeah,
him, and because he was like a really quirky guy. And so anyway, I called him up because like I just knew he was a nice guy. He's always really supportive, and he he bought a knife off me. I did my whole pitch, and then at the end, he was like, "Tell me about a Bible study." He was like thinking about starting up,
yeah,
and that was in 2014. And today he's my best friend, and he's my pastor at our church, and where it's growing, and I've met so many people I've never met before, and it's really like been a central part of my life. And there's obviously a ton of stuff that's happened in between there, but and like incredible stuff and like just relationships. And like I said, though, when like I first became a Christian, I had my parents telling me I'm in a cult. I had people
yeah,
telling me, like really close friends of mine telling me that I'm crazy and I'm lost. And now it's like crazy to look back on all that, because all those same people have been, they've given their lives to Christ. And it's not it's not as much of a a works, it's not as much as a performance based thing as it is just simply believing, because the Bible says that in Hebrews 11 that it's impossible to please God without faith. And I think it's such a, when you're thinking about religion, I mean, I think it's such a simple complex to think about, that like there's two things: you either believe in nothing or you believe something, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
and that's really what it boils down to. And
It
I think,
I think it
I
comes
just think
down
that if
to
there is
the
something,
like, do you want to jump? Like, are you willing to jump at something that you don't know is there?
mm-hmm,
Or are you willing to say, hey, I don't know if it's there and I can't believe in something I don't see? And I think that's kind of the two halves of it, is either you're going to believe because you need something to be there, whether
mm-hmm.
you're somebody, and this always baffled me,
I believe everyone needs
whether you have
it.
somebody who is an addict and kind of needs something to put them back in the right place, somebody who has mental health issues, somebody who has, like, they're down on their luck and they just want something to give them reason and purpose, or it's somebody who genuinely has purpose in life but kind of sees things differently. Like, I fall into that whole logic thing of where it kind of just, like, two and two adds up to four. It just doesn't make sense to me.
mm-hmm,
Like, I don't bash people for it. Like, I'll question them. I'll sit there
mm-hmm,
and actually have that conversation because I find it super, super interesting. I just don't believe because I don't, it doesn't make sense to me.
mm-hmm,
I can't put those thoughts together to where, hey, it makes sense. It just, it
mm-hmm.
doesn't make sense. And I've had super, super in depth conversations with people like you that are super, super intelligent. And they're like, I'm religious
Thank
too.
you.
And I'm like, okay, like,
uh,
I don't understand what you're seeing there, but it is what it is.
mm-hmm.
It's just, it's super interesting when people use that as a guide for their life or when they use that as a guide for everything. And it's super, super interesting to see that kind of balance of what people's lives are, how big of a deal religion is, and if those two things intersect. Because,
I saw, I met this one guy along this way, and I won't say his name. I really don't think he'd care, honestly.
like,
She sounds like a Zoe.
holy fucking shit, that just scared the shit out of me.
Oh, it was loud.
So, yeah, I got a knock at the door. This podcast is going to end early. We'll be done in probably like 5-10 minutes.
Okay.
Um, so yeah, like, I find that super, super interesting and super kind of confusing because it's like there's that duality to it. Is it just because somebody needs something to believe in, or is it just because, like,
You know Jordan Peterson?
yeah,
You should check out one of the links I shared. It was from, I shared one from I forgot what it was, but I shared it twice in like the last week because I thought it was so impactful watching him talk about Jesus Christ versus other religions. And he broke down crying, and I thought it was incredible. But anyway, I wanted to share with you this one testimony, this guy I met, because it was absolutely mine. He reminded me of this guy. You know, you ever seen The Green Mile?
no, I haven't.
You haven't? All right. Well, anyway, so like the main character, well, I forgot what his name was. He just died recently. Um, but anyway, this guy was a gangbanger, and he was locked up for murder when he was 17. He's from Kingston,
There's a
and
lot of those.
yeah. Anyway, he's I think he's around a little over 40 now, but he had a 25 to life sentence and he got out after 17, but he found the Lord, he said, it like his 10th year in.
Yeah,
And this guy is just, it's crazy how much of the Bible he just like talk, when he talks it's like the Bible, it's crazy. And but anyway, he's a union construction worker in the city. Like he has a like two houses, he's into real estate, and like it's just crazy to me that this guy like completely turned his life around, and he's like one of the most nicest genuine people I've ever met in my life. And
yeah,
it's crazy to like, and I see it and I hear of so many like testimonies of people, and I've seen them in my own life, just like my, you know, some of my parents, like just their attitude towards life changing, and they have like this shine from them, you know. It's good, it's hard to deny once you believe, you know what I mean? It's like you see it. And I think if you can't make logic of it, I believe that if, and I would pray for you, but if you were to pray, I believe God would move on you.
Oh yeah.
I do. I do.
And I'm not
But
taking that
anyway,
as a joke. Like as I told you
but
the
that's
other
up to
day,
you, you know what I mean? And that's the
I
thing. It's only up to you.
like, and I know you said, I'm praying for you. I was like, man, I know that means a lot to you, and like that means a lot to me that you would put that meaning out there. And like, I think people
Hmm.
are dicks that are like, hey, why would you do that? Good night, baby. And like,
Uh-huh.
I think that people genuinely are dicks when they don't respond like that.
When did you get that update about that talk you were thinking about doing?
I have to finish homework. Literally, that's what I was doing after this, which I guess just changed. But
No, I mean when you got that news the other day that you told me about with Ted,
with
that
who?
thing you were telling me about, that
Oh,
Frank guy.
yeah, I got you. I found that out yesterday, and then I have homework and a whole bunch of paperwork I have to fill out, and then
She
hopefully that would be super
Good for
super
you, man.
crazy.
I hope it works out.
Imagine a black background behind me that says Ted.
I know, dude. That would be epic. That would be so cool. You might have to clean it up a little bit. I'm not sure.
I don't know,
Do
man.
you think they would, or you think they let it fly?
Put a big old real men talk shit right underneath Ted.
There you go. Yeah,
Exactly.
you should, dude. Get the brand up there.
Exactly.
That'd be cool.
But yeah, so shit's been crazy.
Do
Shit's been real crazy. And I find that conversation super super interesting about religion and that stuff, especially when people say, "Hey, this one makes more sense than the other ones."
hmm
That kind of baffles me. Is like I don't understand why people would say, "Hey, this one's more important than that one," or "This one's more impactful than that one." Like I don't genuinely like being a non-believer. Don't take this offensively, and I
You couldn't
understand
offend me.
some people do, but in the
Uh
grand
huh.
scheme of things, mystical spaghetti monster, regardless of which religion it is, it's still a mystical spaghetti monster. All of them still have the same morals. All of them still have the same mentality, whether they change a little bit or not. They're all kind of the same,
hmm
which makes it super interesting when people are like, "Mine makes sense, but not that one."
Dude,
I'm
I could send you some awesome, I could send you some awesome videos of this astrophysicist. It's kind of boring, but if you were like interested in learning about like the creation of the universe and like how it works as like a scientific point and how it actually ties into the Bible, if you'd be interested in that, I have a link that I could send that to you. It's like 40 something minutes, but it's this astrophysicist. His name is Hugh Ross,
yeah,
and he does a really good job breaking it down. But the whole mythical thing that you were just talking about, I think you should, if you watch that Jordan Peterson link, I'll send that to you too. I'll look it up
yeah,
on the thing and I'll just send it to you. But those are, it's just they're just really interesting perspectives on it. You know what I mean? Because like
no,
I'm
definitely,
and like I used to be like that way towards God, and I kind of still am, but I look at it as like a different perspective. You know, because I really think, I've seen the, we call it the glory of God in this world, and just like things coming to pass, and in our own lives, and speaking the word, which is a big part of it, is like just like paying attention to the words that come out of your mouth and like what you're speaking. But anyway, like um it just all ties into, the whole, I don't look at it so much from a logical standpoint anymore as like I used to, because I used to look at it that way a lot, but I've gotten to the point where it's just like, wow, that's really cool. I wonder, how God ties into that, I guess. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Because like I just, and it's just, dude, it's crazy. Some of the, just the stuff I've seen and the like the perspectives I've heard on certain things, and I try to keep like a wide array. Like I listen to a lot of debates with atheists and like Christian apologetics. Like I like to hear the other side
Yeah,
because I like to hear, arguments against
I'll
it
be out in a
too.
minute.
But
Like it's a super super interesting conversation to have, and I would love to have you on, even if you want to come back on Tuesday or Wednesday. We'll sit down and have a full on conversation. But this
cool.
episode is going to have to end early. There's
Uh-huh.
some other shit I got to deal with at the precise time. This has been Real Men Talk Shit. Thank you, Casey, for coming on. I
Thanks for having
apologize for
me.
having to end it early, but it
All
was
good.
super, super awesome that you came back.
I'll be
And I
back.
would love to have you back again. Maybe we'll be able to get John on, and that will be a super fucking awesome
So come
episode.
on, John.
Thank you guys. Have a good one. I feel like real shit's been talked. I'll see you next time.